coming in, I think. I hope.
It's Thursday again.
Thursday again. The same Thursday as last week.
It is. We are just
We're
banging
recording
these out.
several of them. Is it recording you?
Yeah, it totally is. Mine's always smaller than yours, remember?
There. Oh, it's bigger.
Well, yeah, I gotta eat the microphone.
That's true. Your mic is not as sensitive as my mic.
Yeah, I need a new one. That would be nice.
We need a lot of new things, but that's okay.
The Lord is the provision for the vision.
He says that.
That was he did say that.
Yes.
He also burned that house down because you told him to.
I didn't tell him to burn it down. I just thought this house really needs to burn down.
You've spoken to the house.
Yes.
And the house adhered.
I mean, nobody lived in it. It was obviously abandoned for many years. Just to be clarify. Yeah, it's still there in a smoldering pile of rubble. I'm pretty sure.
It's still burning?
No.
Oh.
I mean, it could be deep down inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And its bones. The bones were not good. The bones were on fire.
That's right. I forgot my coffee.
What the?
Keep talking.
All right.
Wow,
Well,
this sucks.
we were talking about a camping trip that we took years ago with our pastor and a friend of ours, and how stupid we were being and how much pastor had to put up with.
Yeah. That's right. It was fun though.
It was good.
Yeah, a lot of good stories. We'll keep so many of those to ourselves.
So many good stories.
Keep them to ourselves a little bit.
Public indecency.
But a good banana boat goes a long way.
It does.
Though I never got any of it.
Me neither.
Only Joey did.
Yeah. Joey.
Yes.
Our podcast can't even be called that anymore. We haven't gotten any suggestions from our listeners yet. And I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, because we don't know how to put it online yet.
Well,
we don't have a name.
We need a name from the listeners, but we don't have listeners until we put it online. So
yeah, what do we want to call it? Should we make it an anime name?
We could make it something in Japanese. No, nobody would ever find it.
The manga of the...
No.
Yeah. The JoJo manga.
Nope, that is a thing already.
Really?
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Is it with a J-O-E? J-O-E?
No, it's J-O.
Exactly.
J-O.
See,
Yeah.
we're different.
It's not, though. People would listen to it and be like, where's
the manga?
Where's the Thundercross split attack?
Right here. Just a giant something.
Yeah.
I won't say it is. For our younger listeners.
Yeah. All those 5-year-olds that are out there listening to podcasts.
Could be.
It's very much
I was having a talk with my wife this morning about another friend.
I also talked to your wife this morning, just on Snapchat, though.
Did you really?
Yeah, about Taylor Swift.
Did you post things on the group thing?
No.
Oh,
I just
separate
Snapchatted
things.
her.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't get into social media. I don't know. It's really tough for me.
You don't need to. It's really
Yeah, but
awful.
I mean, I could Snapchat with you.
Yeah, we could Snapchat. Snapchat's like pretty safe, as long as you know who you're Snapchatting.
But I have very deep but short streaks of inspiration.
What?
So I could have like 2 days of like just Snapchatting the heck out of you.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, I don't know when the next one's coming.
Do the same thing.
Okay.
Like my friend Joe Jones, or
Yes.
we Snapchat back and forth and talk about stuff, and then we text back and forth, and like there's some stuff we put on Facebook Messenger back and forth. And,
Okay.
yeah, it's just a confusing thing, but it's like whatever. Like if I get a notification from Joe the podcast Joe, I'm like, oh yeah, I will answer this, and no matter what form it's on.
Yeah.
If it's on Slack or Teams or Snapchat.
Yep. What about? There's Slack. There's Teams. There's got to be another one out there.
There's a bunch.
Groups.
Group
We should
me.
make that.
Group me.
Is that real?
I think so.
That sounds inappropriate.
It does.
They should have rethought that one. They really should have. Like we should have rethought our name for this podcast.
You seen that commercial, or not a commercial, but it's like a College Humor thing with the Fruit of the Loom guys.
No.
It's the grape or whatever. It's like, I'm gonna grape you in the mouth. It's a commercial for.
Oh, that's funny.
It's either a commercial for grapes or Fruit of the Loom or something.
Okay.
They're like, yeah, that's great. We can do that. Like, the one guy in the meeting is like, we cannot do that.
Yeah, that's right. Oh gosh. Or what is it? What's that? Islamic extremist group over in
ISIS?
ISIS, yeah. Charlie Barron's. He goes in there and he says, I've got a great name for the soccer foundation. ISIS. International Soccer something something. Everybody's like, no. And he's like, why not? I don't know. It was like a boardroom like thing. It was funny.
There's people named ISIS too.
What?
Like it's a girl's name from like it's an Egyptian goddess or something. So it was a thing before the organization became a thing in like the last 10 years, but like before that, like in the 90s, there's 90s babies walking around named ISIS.
Question for you.
Yes.
What is the number one vehicle brand that that ISIS uses? Yeah, it's that's why you should buy this brand because they use it.
Oh, because they use it.
Yeah.
All right. I is it Saab? Because
no.
I don't know.
Toyota. Yes.
Oh, I thought this was a joke.
No, it's real. I'm not joking.
I was waiting for like some make and model of something that like explodes or
no.
The Ford Exploder. That's what I should have said.
No, it's Toyota.
They run Toyota. Huh?
They will. Yeah. They. I mean, they do some Land Rover. But the Toyota by overall because supposedly they're the best off-roading desert vehicles because they're so tough.
Interesting.
Apparently.
I wouldn't know.
Though I have seen there was an ISIS picture. Do you ever hear this story where this guy sold his landscaping truck? It was a Ford diesel truck. He sold it, and it still had his logo on the side of it, and it showed up in an ISIS photo, and everybody started like, you're terrible. Why'd you sell your truck to ISIS? And it's like, no, I just traded it in, and it went on some. Apparently, these vehicles go into these like big auto auctions, and then they find themselves all over the world.
Yeah, that's how my in-laws usually get their cars is from auto auctions.
So they could be driving a ISIS. I should say ISIS on the side.
They don't have.
You should
Toyotas.
take that off. Yeah, the floorboards were full of 50 cal expended rounds everywhere.
Drugs, probably.
Drugs too, whatever. Yeah. But anyways, so, well, anything else you want to talk about?
Before we talk about the real deal.
Yes. I can't stop staring at the fire over here.
Yeah.
If you can hear the fire.
I thought about it, just having it like live through the monitors, but no.
Yeah, we probably get copyrighted.
For the fire
For the fire crackle. That is copyrighted.
That would be very hard for them to track us down.
That would be interesting because it has to be a consistent 16 notes.
Oh,
I think it's like 16 notes. You could write a song that would sound exactly like somebody else, but would be one note off of a 16 run.
Yeah.
I think it's 16. And you technically
it's not the same.
Yes.
Well, there's only so many combinations that you can do that don't sound like trash. So
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I get discouraged all the time. Start playing piano, I'm like, ooh, this is really good. And then somebody's like, actually, no, you can't do that.
Yep. Well, you think of like Maroon 5. They, one of their recent hits, Memories or something, Dreams, Memory song. Oh, that's based off of like Canon and D.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But because Canon D is so old, there's no copyright on it anymore. So you can you could probably make a song Canon and D.
It's technically public domain.
And just sing over it and be a millionaire.
Yeah.
But then once you do that, nobody else could do Canon and D again for another 150 years. So man, money maker.
Right there. Yeah.
I don't know.
Except Maroon 5 just did it. So.
Yep. I don't know. Anyways.
This is a great intro.
A very good intro. So it's going to be really cold today. I mean.
It already kind of is.
55 is a high.
Wow.
Which yesterday was like 66. And the day before that was 60-something. And the day before that was like an 80.
What? It was not 80
like
something.
Three or 4 days ago, it was like 80.
It was not.
Yes. Saturday was 80.
What?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, it was.
Now people are going to know where we live. They can Google those weather alerts or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're just
sorry for you. You get to come here to this place.
You could come here to this place. You come to our church, say hi to us. We probably would just cower in fear.
Joe Gil. I was watching a video from Joe Gilder this morning.
Ooh, yeah. That's funny. His name's actually Joe. Or is it?
Is it? We don't know. And he was talking about playing his acoustic guitar in church. And that's just, it'd be interesting just to go to Nashville and you just like go into some church and it's like, oh, that's Joe Gilder.
Can you sign my Personas manual?
Yeah.
Can you sign my audio box, please?
This one is amazing. Yep. Yeah. I'm sure he gets that all the time.
I kind of doubt it.
Yeah. But anyways, so, well, should we jump into this?
He's drinking it now.
He is. Wow. Way to go.
What are we talking about, Greg?
That is a mark of a real actor, like dedicated to his craft.
Yeah.
That he would literally sit there for like doing nothing. But I think that's because that's who he really is, though.
Yeah, like they use his real name there on this video, and he's pretty much like that in real life.
Mm-hmm. He woodworks.
He's not libertarian at all, though. He's very much liberal.
Oh,
which was a shock. But.
Yeah, you guys went to his thing.
We did not realize it was basically a Bernie rally.
Oh wow,
not even Bernie. It was like a Hillary rally.
Yeah, crazy.
Anyhow, what are we talking about?
Well, we're going to talk about hope and how that looks in our lives from a lot of aspects.
A lot of aspects.
Well, I don't know. We'll see how deep it gets. But yeah, in the Bible it talks about hope being you're expectant of something in the future.
Yeah.
But you don't have it. But yet, which I think we could all say in most of our lives. I mean, there's tons of stuff that we are hoping for.
Yeah.
But then the struggle becomes, how do you stay in peace and in contentment
when you don't have those things?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like you need hope. Like hope is like, the hope of being, receiving our eternal body and going to heaven and all that stuff. But at the same time,
that's the only thing I've been hoping for years. Since I heard my first end times message, yes. I was like, can this happen like tomorrow?
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Today, actually. I don't want to wait until tomorrow. Getting kind of tired of.
Which is interesting. And we can talk about that too. But, yeah. Drinking our sodas.
Our sodas.
Tastes like coffee, though. So yeah, how do you stay satisfied with, at the same time knowing full well you're yearning inside for a better place, a better home? Yeah. Which you should, because that's why he died, was to, but then at the same time, yeah, that's what we kind of want to talk about. Any initial thoughts from you?
My initial thoughts, I don't know. I'm really bad at it. At least I was. I think I'm good at like waiting and being content and like knowing.
Yeah. Me too.
Not even knowing what's coming, but like hoping for what's coming, because you don't really know, other than like the prophecies that haven't happened yet in the Bible. Like, those you can count on. But like just the random stuff that people have said to you.
Yeah.
Like I've had people say, like when I was single, somebody said to me that like, this year is the year you're gonna find your wife. I just feel it. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Did it happen?
No. I didn't date anybody for like 3 years.
Wow.
It's like, I mean, it's not their fault. Like, I'm sure they felt that in the moment, and it could have been. But people have free will, so.
Yeah. Yep. I hear you. Yeah. I think a lot of times it for me, it stems down to, well, first off, there can be a sense, I don't know if it's actually what people think, but there can be this religious ditches basically where you basically ignore the hope stuff because you say you should be content.
Yeah.
So then therefore you don't even dream.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that don't believe you should dream, like God just gives you what you're going to have. Well, not really. They've just missed half of the subject
2 years ago.
That is true, or even last week sometimes. A lot for me.
Last week, you were giving up. Last week,
just a couple days ago, I was giving up. I was like, "Screw this! I'm done. Just give me the ice cream, whole pint."
Ice cream.
But
we're very emotional eaters on this podcast.
it's bad. It's bad.
It is. Like I get home from Walmart and it's like, where are the chocolate chips?
Yeah. Did I not buy chocolate chips?
No, I like go to the cupboard because I know they're there.
How you're like, that was the only reason I went to Walmart. But I came home with.
Sometimes it is the only reason. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's that level of contentment. But then at the same time, you have, if Jesus was to, you think of Jesus' life, if he was to be content, then he never would have went to the cross. He never would have endured stuff for hope.
You need to have a vision for the future and something that you're working towards.
Exactly.
And I was just reading in Mark chapter 7 yesterday. Look at that, a reference.
Nice.
And the Jews are like, or his brothers are like, why aren't you, like, you should put yourself out there, like, come to the Feast of the Tabernacles with us, and like if you are who you really say you are, like, come do your stuff. Mm-hmm. And he was like, no, it's not my time. Like, you're not ready. I'm not ready. Like, because they wanted to, like, if he was who he said he was, they were going to put him into government or whatever, and like make him their supreme leader.
Yep.
And he's like, that's not what I'm here for.
Yeah.
They did not understand.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's pretty good. And a place, and he had a vision for the future. And even then, chapter 6 and 7, he knew Judas was going to betray him. Mm-hmm. Of Mark.
Of Mark.
No,
that's good.
Judas was of Iscariot.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's deep.
It's not. It's like the least
could be.
deep part about it. They were just distinguishing between the other Judases.
That is true. That's how deep it is. Yeah, that's really good. I had a thought there and it left me.
Oh, shit.
But, then going back about vision, and I think sometimes there's this whole balance of like but that's the other ditch is you could be somebody of vision, but you never live in the moment.
Yeah, like you have a now calling on your life.
Yeah.
And you have a tomorrow calling on your life, and you need to operate out of both of them simultaneously.
Yes. Yeah. So you both, that's really good because you have to learn how to be content with what you have now and use that, whatever that is, or do whatever that is well. But in the light of how does God want you to do things today, or maybe not do things today as Jesus did, to get to your future thing.
Yeah.
And so that's that. I think the other, I was having a really heated conversation with my wife about this just yesterday.
Was it a discussion?
I mean, more like, I just needed to be
a passionate outpouring of your soul.
Of hers to me, really.
Oh, hers
she was, okay. I needed to hear some things. So.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, which was good.
You guys are gonna be blown away when we have her on the podcast. We're not gonna say anything. She's just gonna talk for like an hour and be like, "Right, guys," and we're gonna say, "Yeah," and that's gonna be the podcast for that week.
Let's go get lunch.
I just got some Taco John's coupons.
Nice. Is that what's sitting out on the front porch?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's funny. I looked in there and I saw you had some propaganda on the floor.
Oh, right. Got the mail this morning.
Election stuff.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
From both parties every day. This guy's a liar. Well, this guy's a liar.
I know.
They're both liars. I'll vote for myself.
in my town, there's on the main street, there's a guy. I've never seen this sign anywhere else, but it says, it's like an official sign. Uh-huh. Like somebody had to sit down and design it because it had like blue and like stars and stuff, and it said "Fire the liar," and I thought that was pretty funny. But
one of my neighbors has a "Dump the Trump" sign in their window, and it faces their Republican neighbor like across the street, and then they have one in their other window that doesn't face them. So it's like deliberate.
Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, they'll learn the next whoever it is. Politician will disappoint them too, no matter what they think.
It's true.
It's just how it is. We're humans. We don't do,
I was talking about that with my wife last night. How, so Trump's president now. Mm-hmm. If he gets elected another term, he's going to be able to do quite a bit because he just tipped the Supreme Court in his favor.
Yeah.
And he's got the Senate in his favor.
Yeah.
So that's going to work out well for him. But if Biden gets elected, he's not going to have the support of the Senate or the Supreme Court.
Right.
The only thing he's gonna be able to do is like try and push stuff through in the House.
Yeah,
but
it's an interesting thing, isn't it?
It is
politics,
and he's so old. Like he's well over the life expectancy for his generation.
Really?
He's like 78.
Holy moly, he does pretty good.
He does all right.
I mean, he's moving. I mean, unless they like just hop him up with steroids right before he walks out or something.
I don't know. Well, considering what presidency has done to every president in the past,
that is true.
Like, they
that
age like 30 years in 4 years.
They
like,
do.
It's really unhealthy.
I mean, it's tough. Yeah.
So I don't think he has that left in him. I don't know. I don't want to speak that over him.
That is true.
But
yeah,
these are my speculations.
Anyhow,
no politics. This is not a political podcast.
I think it wasn't very political. I think it was just
an
matter of
observation.
fact observation. Yeah. Yeah. Vote.
Vote
just
for
kidding.
whoever God tells you to vote for.
I was just gonna say vote and put a name in there. Vote for beep. We're not political here. Yeah.
Try not to be.
So yeah, going back to the conversation with my wife, and it's like, okay, we've heard some things from God for life. We've heard some pretty big things. It's taken me a while to actually believe him for it.
Yeah.
And then all that yet he wants me to live out life now. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, what does that look like? And actually, what is actual surrender to things, trusting him for certain things look like?
Yeah.
And there's times of waiting and there's times of doing stuff. There's times of
Yep.
obedience. There's times of rest. And it's like, I find myself in the midst of doing both. I'm resting, yet I'm doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't like the popular, like, you're just in a season of waiting. You just gotta wait. Like, there's definitely something that you're supposed to be doing, but that's just a cop-out for, I can't focus on anything but this, so I'm just gonna sit and wait. And, like, that's...
yeah.
I don't think
Yes.
that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. And I think the other ditch, though, I think for me in particular, is because I can see I've felt this way before, where I've heard you need to step out towards that area, and I totally agree with that. At the same time, there's caveats to it, because for me, I'm trying to find my identity.
Yeah.
Apart from God for a long time. Never thought that way, but I'm realizing that. And so he's trying to give me things that he wants me to do, visions for the future. But at the same time, he's teaching me to keep those things surrendered to him, so that I'm not doing them to make me me.
Yep.
And so there is this level of rest. I'm almost surrendering those visions. Mm-hmm. And yet I still need to live in life today. It's kind of interesting.
Like, if God gives you this dream on your life and you can't shake it, of like, you're supposed to be this amazing guitar player, like, whatever. So you're like, okay, you buy a guitar, like your crappy little guitar, you buy a crappy amp, and you like practice every day for like 5 years. Let's say you practice for 5 years and you become a really good guitar player, and you audition for like big bands and like try and do all this stuff and like get your music out through record labels and stuff, and everything gets denied.
Yep.
Then like, you're at this place where like, well, maybe I was wrong. Like, did I just waste all this time? Like, do I give up, or is it just not the right time?
Yes. Yeah.
I think more often than not, that's what happens, and that's the ditch you fall into if you start working towards the future.
Yes.
It's like, okay, well, now I think I'm ready. So why isn't it happening?
Yeah.
And God's like, you're not ready because blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And
I equate it back to, I've seen this so time and time again. I think we probably mentioned this before in podcasts, but I've seen people that want to get married, and that's all that consumes their mind all the time.
Yeah.
And then the minute they literally stop thinking about it, Mr. or Miss, so-and-so walks in the room, never seen that person before, and it's like, whoa.
The heavens open.
And at times I'm like, duh. I look at them and go, duh, I could have told you that. But then, here I am. Duh, you should have known that too, And I'm like,
yeah.
And so it's an interesting, it's all about relationship. We can easily jump to conclusions and say, we're going to have to start doing this. Like, we have to start learning guitar the best we can. And, God just has a whole different way. He's developing a person, not just a guitar player,
That's true.
And so there, you say, and that comes back to your identity. You've got to learn and learn how to operate out of that identity in him, and then he puts you into those places of guitar things, or whatever,
Yeah.
Name your thing. So
name your thing.
and Yeah. So, I just think of provision for the vision that he spoke to me. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, what's that going to look like? How is this going to go? And he's teaching me to actually be honest with myself on what I actually enjoy and what brings me life. And then in the same time, he's just like, I don't know. It's just interesting. It's interesting. You're like, I don't understand. I don't understand all the time. I don't understand what's going on.
I hardly ever understand, ever.
You kind of have to give up on that
Yeah.
a little bit.
He'll like give me
honestly
a thing to do for the day. Now that we're unemployed, it's much more like the existential dread is like right around the corner. Like, you open up the dryer and you're like, wow, this is my life. What am I even doing?
Yeah.
Laundry today, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you go on. But
Yep.
yeah, what do you do when you have
Yeah.
nowhere to be? And I think we're in a better place than we were
Oh yeah.
2-3 years ago.
It's just
Because
different.
we knew we had the dreams that God had given us, like we had the prophecies and like the night dreams, like the actual dreams you have in the night. Of like, wow, this is a God thing. Like God has this for me in the future. It's like, I guess I'll just wait and keep doing my crappy job. And
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and I think it comes back to it's probably another podcast here, would be
there's been like 8 podcasts
Matthew
we could've gone
6
to,
that talks about working, serving God or serving mammon, and how I think most Americans work for, at least Americans I know
Yeah.
that are successful. It's just the way they talk and stuff. And this is not a slam to them because I'm the same boat. Sorry, I touched your foot.
It's okay.
Didn't I?
I don't know.
There you go.
I'm like creeping over there.
And you working for mammon is working for money.
Yeah.
Okay. And so therefore you serve it. And so it looks spiritual when you say, well, I'm going to work so and so hard. I'm going to have a budget. I'm going to, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but it's all about ditches.
Yep.
Because if you're relying on your ability solely on your ability to manage your money,
provide for yourself,
yeah. And so you go, oh, I'm gonna work this much, I'm gonna get paid this much, I know that's how much money I'm gonna have, and so I'm gonna get this house, or I'm gonna get this car, and yet God's not in the equation. You're missing so much more, and I'm just thinking of my life, like, yeah, he's told us these things, and you're just like, okay, and I guess I'm in a good spot. I'm sure you are too, where you go, God, you're the only answer,
right?
I
do believe that.
And so you say, okay, we're gonna do this and this and this, and I think that's what he's teaching me is like, you can't. I thought was doing a lot better with money, but he's just really beating the heck out of me. Like, he's just like, no, you've been putting your trust in how well you could provide for yourself.
Yeah.
Even though I quit my job, and kind of like, there's still like this depth of that I didn't even realize, where you have to trust him. You can't even trust your spiritual. If I look more spiritual, maybe God will come through for me more, or something like that.
Yeah.
If I spend more time with him, maybe then he'll provide what I need.
Yeah.
And
he's not a vending machine.
Yeah.
Or like any kind of machine.
Yeah.
Like, I'll pull this lever so many times and push these buttons in this order, and then out pops my dream.
Exactly. And I don't know. For me, he's just been breaking off, like, and so when you start acting that way, it can look like you're working for God or living for God, but you're still serving the man. The mammon.
The mammon.
Yeah. And so he's just been breaking that off, and and he wants you to step out in an area that's not, how's that going to make money to pay the bills?
It's not most of the time.
Yeah. And so learning how to like actually having joy in your life and is more valuable than the budget.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. And now obviously if you're a person that's like, I've heard from God, I need a budget, you're in a good place. But I don't know if a lot of Christians are that way. We just make assumptions that being
I need to count everybody.
frugal
Yeah.
is the best thing that God wants, and we will always do that.
Yeah.
When there's times where he's just like, give everything you have away. Well, that doesn't fit my budget, God.
Yeah.
What about next month? And he's like, I don't care.
Yep.
You need to serve me.
Yeah.
And
you finally get some money in savings, and then somebody in your church or somebody you know, or just
Yeah.
a random person is going through financial hardship, and God's like, you need to give them like $3,000.
And you're like, well, that's my kid's college tuition. Isn't that
that's-
important? And God's like,
obviously, but
yeah, that's where that's like,
do you trust me enough to go that far
Yes.
with me?
yeah, and I think when you all of a sudden come to that place of like, his voice is more important than your budget. His
Yeah.
voice is more important than that new car you really want. His voice is more important than anything, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing I really wanted to, yeah. And that's what I was like, just listening to that sermon by, what's his name, Eric
Gilmore.
Gilmore.
Yeah.
Gilmore.
The one from this week. Or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
Gilmore. Yeah.
Never seen it. Just popped up on my thingamajigger, and I
Yeah.
played it, and I was like, "Holy crap, this is really deep."
It was.
It was tough.
It was like.
It was really
It
tough.
was an emotional. It was like poetry.
Yes.
And I don't think like he wasn't reading off a script or anything. Like he was just pouring out his heart.
Yeah.
Like, he is a different dude
He is a different dude.
from what I normally listen to. Anyhow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which has also been a challenge for me over this period of being out of my job, because I normally have been only listening to certain people, which is not bad.
Yeah.
But it's like I felt safe in those zones.
Yep.
And it was hard for me to jump out and let God speak
Yep.
nuggets out of somebody else that I normally wouldn't listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And
He's stretching you.
yes,
Putting you in different yoga
holy
poses.
moly!
Got you in child's pose.
I like child's pose with an arm twist out. Oh, it stretched my back. It's good.
I like the fully at rest pose, or you just lay on your back.
Corpse pose.
Corpse pose. Yes.
Yes, that's also my favorite pose.
Did you have to cross your hands over your chest and sniff some daisies?
No, usually you just lay your arms out to your sides, about waist height, and you just have your palms up, and it's great.
Yep. We did that in high school. we did a yoga unit, and like one day a week was like relaxation day.
Yes.
Like, this is weird.
But I was just thinking about this morning. I need to try some new poses out to really
yoga,
stretch myself.
Yeah.
Yes. You know those poses where they're like balancing on like 2 feet, 2 hands, or
on 2 feet. Ooh.
standing.
Challenge.
No, but you know they're doing. Yeah, that's what I want to try. I got to jump out and do that. But yeah. Anyways, yeah. I'm just like, I think some of the things he said. Man, let's read it.
Wow, you took notes. I thought about it. I pay better attention when I'm not taking notes.
I don't take notes.
It's better to remember.
These are just like something. All of a sudden, he said something, and it just spoke to me.
Sure.
Yeah. And this is where that hunger versus satisfaction meets in the middle of where Jesus is. The way he put it is he only. That's it. That's how he put it. Is he only?
Yeah, only. That was the word
Yeah.
that God gave him.
Only. And I, it's like, oh, and that was the other thing. Sometimes people, they put the goal that God has set before us above God himself.
Yes.
And we can create our own ministries all about that. We can create our own endeavors in life all about that. And it seems spiritual.
Because it makes sense to you. It's logical.
But yes. But God stopped and turned on the path a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And the one thing he really said was that really got me. He says sometimes God will stop to see if you have if he has your attention or if you're just focused on the goal.
Yep.
And I was like, dang.
Yeah, that was a good part. That was a good sermon.
Oh my.
Because I feel like the messages. Well, I don't know if it's the messages or like the worship I listened to when I first got saved was more like that. Like, we're just hungry for Jesus.
Yeah.
There's no ulterior motive. There's no like, well, I need you to heal me. I need you to bless me. It was just like straight up pursuit. Like, all I need is Jesus.
Yeah.
And like, I haven't even thought that way for a long time.
Sure. Yep. Yeah. And so, yeah, I guess when you're faced with with will, I think we've had this conversation before, but God brings me to this place a lot where he's like, will you, even though he's given you a vision,
Mm-hmm.
you can sense that he's stopped moving in that moment.
Yeah.
And you have to go, even if this doesn't happen, I will still serve you. I will still walk with you.
Yeah. I'm in this for my relationship with Jesus.
Yes.
I'm in this because it draws me closer to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what that means evolves and changes and gets deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to admit that to yourself, that when it changes like that. It's pretty deep stuff.
We are at 35.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Oh, boy. Yes.
We haven't talked long enough.
What, are you done?
I don't know. What do you got to say? We got to save yourself.
About all this, about this past week. We didn't talk about how we've been feeling.
Yeah, how you been feeling?
I don't know. It's been interesting. Our church, it is up to debate if the church prayer is a church prayer night or if it's
a church prayer night.
It is now?
Yes, it's official.
Okay.
Yep,
all right.
Yep.
When did that get officialized?
Like last week.
Wow, that is why I felt that then. So last week on like Tuesday or Wednesday, I just felt like the Lord released me to go to prayer night.
Oh, cool.
Whatever. And I haven't felt like peace about going to prayer night in a long time. I didn't get to go last week because we had a thing with my in-laws.
Sure.
But
sure. Well, we know where you're.
I'm gonna be there tonight. Yeah.
Your priorities are pretty skewed.
No. What?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You definitely shouldn't go to prayer night if you're like not supposed to go to prayer night.
I know.
And I've done that in the past, and it doesn't make any sense. I'm like, because I did not spend like, I guess in the last year.
Yeah.
Like my church time has been like my time with God because I haven't like taken the time to set aside and do that because I just feel like trash at the end of a workday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not anymore. It's a different kind of trash feeling. But so I go to prayer and like I'm like, I just need to work on myself. And they're like, let's pray for the community. I'm like, y'all need to pray for me. I am the community.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it just was not the place for me. But then just last week, it was like, you can go to prayer now because you can focus on something other than yourself. I was like, oh.
That's good.
It was a bit of sour grapes feeling too.
Yes, I hear you.
Wow, I was really stupid for like 10 years.
Yeah, but then you have to God have so much grace for us. We have to have grace for ourselves. But,
yeah.
But I understand. I
feel like I was closer to the Lord 10 years ago than I am now.
It's just because you thought you were. You just had a very shallow view of God.
I'm sure.
We
that's
all
what
did.
It is.
Yeah, I think a pastor always says, I used to think I could understand God, and now I understand him less and less.
Yeah.
But he's in awe of him more and more.
That's true. I was mostly religious back then.
Yes.
I'm very much irreligious. Unreligious? Not a-religious.
Yeah. Oh, religion is... Oh, did I do it?
Well, it didn't go like... But now I did, so it's like the same thing. So.
Yeah. Boy, religion has been that's what makes me feel guilty for quitting my job most of the time.
Oh my gosh, that's what makes me feel guilty about like everything.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, my family has a business, and I moved 100 miles away from them, and I seem to be like the solution to all their problems, even though I didn't know how to like do any of the stuff that the business does. But they're like, well, you're going to stay and run it, right? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not, because I see how awful it is for everybody that works here.
Yeah, yeah. I think, just thinking about that, it can be, there's so many voices that are saying, just do something so you can make security for your life, basically.
Yes, that's the only reason I went to college, because the guidance counselor at my school was like, you need to go to college. Yeah. Like, you shouldn't go to Bible college. And I guess they were right about that. I didn't go there, but but it's not for any reason that they actually knew. Like it wasn't a God reason. It was just a financial thing. Like if you're going there for this program, you should really reconsider. And then my mom was like, "You need to go to college," and my dad was just silently standing away, like, "You're gonna come back and work for me, right?"
Yeah.
Like, actually, no.
Yeah. And that's where I'm like,
and now I don't use my degree, so I'm a disgrace. Not actually, but
just realizing
I don't use my degree, but I'm not a disgrace.
You're not a disgrace. But the provision for the vision thing, like realizing that, I'm just realizing for the first time that I could, in a sense, do something that I enjoy trusting God that He's going to bring the provision alongside that as I step out
Yeah.
to do that. And it's just I so often want to just grab the reins and go, put the budget on it, figure out how much money I need, and start work. I need to work harder so I can get there. And he's just like, hold the horses back here, or whatever.
Hold the chariots of fire back. You
know,
are not ready to go full speed yet.
Yeah, because my wife has told me this for years, but I'm just realizing it more and more. I'm a like all or nothing person.
Yeah.
And that's what scares me from stepping out in anything, because I know it's just going to control my life. And he's like, I want you to step out. Oh, too much. Hold back. And he's like, and I can get in a ditch where I go, I'm not going to do anything in my life ever.
Yeah.
Because that's not good.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you need to. And so just that struggle of learning to step out, and he I guess he's healing my heart from, I guess you call it, well, you called me this, a workaholic.
Did I?
You did. I think on last podcast or something you did. You said that.
I don't know if
which
that
I never
was
would have.
sarcastic or not. I don't classify you as that.
You said it though.
Well, I think it's just because you were working like 60 hours a week for like 5 years. Like I would have lasted like a month in that, and then I need to quit.
It felt like a lot more than 60 hours a week, but
well, I'm sure it was. I don't know what your actual account was, but it was high, much higher than mine.
Yeah, and it was always sporadic.
Yeah,
There'd be times where you're sitting, and then all of a sudden I'd be working like 3 weeks in a row every day.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
I did not like it.
No, me either.
Yeah.
But I think he had to beat the crap out of me to, in a certain sense, beat my ego down, because I thought I knew everything, bring me to the breaking point, which he's still doing. Apparently.
I've always thought you know everything. This whole time.
But
we should just ask. He knows everything.
I don't know.
Well,
it's funny. It's funny talking with other people.
Have to bleep that.
I never realized. You look at, oh, that person over there is smarty pants. He's always saying stuff. Apparently, I'm that person.
I don't think you're that person.
Well, I was like talking with Joe.
I don't know.
Josephine.
I just said your name,
and
like,
she
multiple times today. So
in here,
yes,
I didn't hear that.
Wow, that's why I bleeped just.
Oh,
because I said the real identity. We could just switch to our real first names.
No,
we can't even call the podcast 2 Cups of Joe.
Yeah, we can.
We can't. We've been over this.
A million cups of Joe. We're gonna change it. A million cups of Joe.
A million cups.
Email all your comments at 2 cups of Joe.
Not of.
2 cups CUPS.
CUPS.
But what was it? Yeah, and Josephine said, she said this multiple times. Oh my gosh, Greg just knows everything. I just said my name.
I don't know. I don't know who this is.
Short. She looks like she should be like 3 years younger than she is, or older, younger than she actually is.
Like 12 years.
Yes.
Well, she acts like she's 12 years older. Than
12 years
is,
older,
yes.
but she looks like she's like 3 years younger than she actually is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's quite the conundrum. I love her though.
Yes. But
we should have her on the podcast.
We could. That would be so hilarious. Oh my gosh. I
wonder if she would get like stage fright a little bit, even though she like kills it on Sunday morning.
That's right.
This isn't worship. Like I'm surprised we do as well as we do on this podcast.
I think I got over it pretty quick.
Yeah. It was like the first one was awkward. Go back and listen to the first
Watching
one.
Joe Gilder stare into his, I'm like, he's looking at me like he's looking at me.
Yeah.
But then I realized today he's literally sitting in his basement, just staring right into the middle of the camera.
Yeah.
That takes balls.
It does. I think about that with like all the YouTubers, like Davey 504. Like he's just sitting in his apartment alone, like being really stupid. Like, I would not be able to be in an apartment and then like be a YouTuber and like do weird stuff all the time. Yeah. That's why TikTokers are crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting world out there, isn't it?
It is.
People would have never thought this would be real 100 years ago.
We are like 100% Midwesterners. Like,
why is that? Why do you say that?
Like we don't do weird stuff in public. Like we're weird in our own spaces, but like if somebody else could see us, I probably wouldn't say half the stuff
that is true.
that we're even saying right now.
That is true.
But
that is true. That is true.
Because even when I'm
Very
out
true.
and about and like other guys are talking or whatever, and like I just kind of stand there and listen.
Yeah.
Mostly because they're talking about sports and I know nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like trying to be a part of the conversation.
Yeah. I hear you.
Did you hear that Aaron Rodgers uses a Class 5 helmet instead of a Class 6? It's like, no.
People talk about that?
Some people do.
Interesting. I don't even know what a Class 5 or Class
I
6
don't know
helmet is.
either.
He looks a little goofy.
Does he?
Yeah, because it's like he's squished around his cheeks, and then it's like bulbous on top.
See, you already know more about sports than I do because you know what Aaron Rodgers looks like in his helmet.
He looks funny. He looks like Eli Manning.
Hey, don't touch that corner.
Dang it.
He looks like Eli Manning.
Eli Manning always looked funny because he had a bulbous head. Like when he wore a helmet.
If you're listening to this, Eli, we are sorry.
It's true. There's like memes upon memes about the weird stare at Eli Manning.
The 1,000-yard stare.
Like, does he know what he's doing out there? But he's got 2 championships, so who can argue with that?
I wouldn't.
But what were we talking about?
How you're a know-it-all.
Yep,
Not
thanks,
actually,
man.
Not actually.
But I am discovering how to
Just
actually.
well-rounded.
Wow, I'm just really tired. I am. I've been
yawned
emotionally
into the
eating
microphone.
lately, and I can feel the bulge. It's bad.
It was my birthday. That's my excuse. That's why
That's
I ate
true.
like
You
crap
have,
for like a month.
Yeah, that's true.
I just realized driving back from the car dealership this morning that my driver's license expired. And I forgot to renew it. Like I knew it was coming and I was like, I can just do it later. And then
you didn't-
I totally
Wow.
didn't think about it until today, which is the day before the anniversary of that I got my license for real.
Wow, I gotta check mine now.
You should be good. Because you just did it when you were 27 and now you're like 32.
I have 2 more years on it.
Wow.
Wow,
9/24/2020. Ha! Happy birthday to me.
I had more hair in here than I do now.
Not really.
Looks like it.
You have more hair in your face.
That is true. And my back too.
You never know when you're gonna have to lasso a sea turtle.
Okay.
It's from Pirates of the
What were we?
Caribbean.
So what were we gonna say here? I felt like we were gonna say something else.
Were we? Before we got talking about how you know everything.
Yeah.
Oh, it was about God. Probably.
Oh,
That narrows it down.
yeah,
Somewhere between Genesis and Revelation. That's what we were talking
it's somewhere in there. Book of Maccabees, probably.
about. Maccabees.
That's Catholic
in the,
Catholic Bible.
The Apocrypha.
Yes.
It's in the Book of Enoch.
Ooh, there you go.
The Nephilim.
Yep. The Nephilim. Anyways,
Wow, how do we get back to where we were?
We don't
were
know.
having a good conversation.
we were. Well, either way, I don't know. Oh, I'm actually enjoying things now.
Oh, really?
When I actually surrendered the finances, which I thought was already surrendered to God.
But it wasn't, was
No.
it? Yeah, I knew it.
Thanks.
I knew it.
You were thinking that and you didn't say anything?
Well, I knew the Lord would show you. You gave the Lord a deadline.
Oh.
I'm like, the Lord is going to speak to him about that.
Well, I can't wait till he speaks to you about the things that I know he wants to speak to you about.
You can't just like tell people.
I just did.
Mic
Mic drop.
Like I know people, and like God tells me stuff about them. Like they're definitely not ready to hear that yet. Like
Yeah.
He just kind of like tells you, so like you know what to be praying for them about.
Yeah.
But like if you told them, it would just be like you were speaking Greek to them.
Yeah.
Unless they know Greek, then it would be a different language that they don't know.
Yeah.
And be like, I don't know, I don't believe that. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. It's the Christian response to everything.
That is true. So I'm doing fine.
No.
So, anyways, yeah. So I don't know. I like when I finally released that to him. Yeah, that was it. My wife. Oh gosh.
Ooh, that was close. She would have been pissed.
Oh, it doesn't matter. My wife.
Let's bleep it out.
We were having this conversation. Yeah, part of the deep, powerful, painful conversation.
Wow.
I
When
re-
was this conversation? Like just
Over the
last
last
night?
2 days.
Last 2 days.
Yeah.
Oh, it took 2 days.
Yes,
wow, that's
it
a big
did.
one.
Yes.
Well, she's busy, so
Yes. So then
she'd like say stuff, and then you just get to stew about it for the next 6
Yes.
hours while she's gone.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But she,
gonna be a fun time
we
this
realized
afternoon.
that like for some reason, like basically I, because we were thinking things that were normal to her. Yeah, I mean her parents are great, but we all just were religious
Yeah.
in so many levels. So
Yeah.
there's always these layers of. But I didn't even grow up in a religious home to a certain extent.
But you did.
I did.
Bit. Halfway.
Yeah. So there's like this whole aspect of being a child that I
missed out on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I never I have a hard time receiving gifts because I'm always thinking about, well, what did I do to deserve it, or what do I need to do to deserve it? When I think of work, having the concept of actually enjoying your work and being satisfied with it in the midst of having debt is a foreign concept to me. Because I'm like, well, I need to work harder. I need to work harder. And it's like, I've never thought that.
You said her name.
Yeah, whatever. Beep! And
see, now we know where to bleep it out right there.
There you go. But you could just grab that part and drag it over top of the other one. Just copy it.
I don't know. Probably is long enough, yeah.
You can stretch
in as far as
you can stretch it. Yeah.
No.
Somehow. Yeah. But yeah, and so it's like as I'm actually like going, okay, it's hard to say like that's not my responsibility, which is weird. It sounds irresponsible.
Your debt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I've proven I can't do it.
It's true.
The only time I've ever actually I've only paid off one student loan on myself, if we call it that. Mm-hmm. All the other loans we paid off is because we followed God and we did some things that God asked and money came in and we paid them off.
Yep.
And so it's like I kind of have to come to that realization he's going to take care of it.
That's how most loans that we've had have been paid off too. Like,
yeah,
you think when you get it, like, okay, I have a year to pay this off or whatever.
Yep.
And like it comes to the end of the year and you're like, wow, there's still a lot left on there.
Yeah.
Like, but I need to pay it off or it's going to like 20% interest,
Yep.
And we've never not paid it off in time,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's usually nothing that we've done. It's usually like, well, you got way more back in your taxes this year, so you can pay it off. Or like you got more back from school reimbursement or whatever, so now you can pay it off. Or you found an odd job that made enough money to do this, and it's like, I'm not in control of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
as much as we think we are.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I don't know. When I realized that, like just yesterday, when I finally let God kind of, okay, I can't do that. Then I was like, actually starting to enjoy things, not thinking of like,
isn't it fun?
Yeah.
To enjoy stuff instead of just like be guilted into doing stuff.
Yes. Yes.
If you're operating out of guilt and shame, you should just stop.
Oh, shame has been a big part of my life.
Guilt, shame, and pride. My 3 driving factors for like, I don't know, since I've been born, probably.
Yeah. Since you've been born, it could be. Yeah. Yep. So it's a new age. I'm like, I don't know, just thinking about stuff. I'm like, I've always thought of things in the utilitarian way, in the sense of like, well, have I done enough to deserve to do that?
Yeah.
Have I done or what kind of return and investment essentially would that have? Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of partly why I like...
The Bible's like slapping you in the face the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, it's not by your own works. Nobody comes to the Father except through me.
Yeah.
You don't get to me except because the Father lets you. And like,
yep.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So it's crazy. It's just an exact front to your shame, your guilt, and your pride. You can't hold on to any of those things if you want to continue in the kingdom. So, which is a refreshing truth.
Yeah.
When you realize... Well, your pride keeps you from letting go of your shame and guilt, because those are the only things you can actually own, in a sense. Essential. It's so essential. Ooh, toit.
Nice. Copywritten, probably. I was saying that before that show was a thing, though. Not toit.
Yeah, but... So anyways, yeah, it's crazy times, so it's exciting. But it's still, my mind has to be renewed a lot, in that, because I can tell when my mind switches back to the old way of thinking, so. Yeah. Yeah.
I like slip into it for like a day, or like sometimes even a week.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute. This is just how I was before. Mm-hmm. I need to renew my mind.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. So, we got time for... Opinions.
Opinion question.
I have none, so.
I thought.
Well, this is mine.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers, should he wear a class 5 or class 6?
Oh my gosh. I think he should wear whatever is safest for his position on the field. I value the safety of the players more than I do the integrity of the game.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Because like Brett Favre and all of his like head trauma that he's had,
Yeah.
and like you can tell, like when he gets up to like speak or say stuff, you're like, you've like damaged yourself beyond repair in some ways, and it's sad.
Yeah.
Because he was such a good player, and like he's such a good like team person to have.
Yeah.
Or whatever, like a good icon. Like he was a great guy, and now he's lost like some of his capacity.
Yeah, true.
Because of football, because of the game that he loved, and trying to put himself out there for the fans. That's a really lame opinion question.
I know that was a joke.
All right, I thought of one. I think I have two. We can do two. We can go crazy.
I do actually have I just thought of an opinion one, but we'll do it later.
Oh wow!
After this one,
3 maybe.
Go ahead.
So vacation. You want to go on vacation?
Yeah.
If you could go anywhere at all, no bureaucracy. Like you don't have to worry about getting permits or like anything, or like the government trying to stop you because it's like a restricted zone or whatever. Where would you go?
Oh my gosh, that's a deep question, man.
Isn't it? Like,
it all depends on what I want to get out of the vacation.
Yeah, like if you could go inside the Coliseum and like stand in the middle, like was that on the top of the list, or like hang out on top of the pyramid? Like,
I'd like to go in the pyramids, probably.
The pyramids, yeah.
If I had that much access, I would like to go and discover something that nobody else has discovered, because you can go into some place that not open to anybody.
Exactly. Oh,
so
that would be dope.
Yes. So it would be, I don't know the specifics, I've never been asked that question, but it would have to be something like that. Either like the catacombs under Paris, or into one of the pyramids. Something like that.
Area 51, just to know what's going on.
That might be really boring.
It might be, but I think it would be worth a shot. Like if you had a week and you could just go wherever.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Then
that would probably be my first stop. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing in there? That would be interesting.
I watch too much X-Files. That is
true.
But on the X-Files, like the Mulder goes to Area 51 or whatever, and like the guys there are asking him like, "Are aliens real? Like, have you seen it? Like, all we're doing is like flight tests and stuff."
That's funny.
It's crazy.
They were paid off by the government to say that.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't know. Oh, X-Files is so good.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but yeah. Yep. So you want to go to Area 51?
Area 51 would be the first stop. And then I want to go to that cave in Vietnam that has like a jungle inside of it.
Yes.
But there's like a 5-year waiting list. It's probably longer now.
Wow.
Of like people that are trying to get in there because it's so cool. Like you lower yourself in from like the top, or whatever, and there's like legit trees and like an ecosystem inside.
That's
of
all
this
inside the cave.
So big.
That's awesome.
I would go there.
That would be sweet.
Probably want to see some cool stuff in China, like the mountains.
Oh yeah,
and like Tibet and all that stuff. That would be dope. Unrestricted access to that. The Great Wall.
Oh yes,
that'd be cool.
The real Great Wall.
The real one.
The one that tourists go on is technically not even real.
What?
Like, it's not. The one that people normally get pictures on, I mean, it is, but it's like been redone so that you can walk on it. But like the real, if you want to go on the real one, that's never been touched by people essentially in a long time, you just can't do that. Yeah, apparently. So that's what I would do.
I would also go grab some gold bars at Fort Knox just to like hold them.
They unfortunately don't use that anymore.
What? They don't use Fort Knox anymore?
We don't use the gold standard for our income
but the
ever
government's
anymore.
Sitting on a pile of gold somewhere still.
No, they're not.
What did they do? Sell it?
Probably.
Well, that's awful.
We sold everything. I mean,
what?
China owns all our national parks.
We would not sell gold.
China owns all our national parks.
How are you enjoying your national parks?
Yes, it's true.
That is true. But
yeah, we've sold everything off to other places for debt payment in the future.
If the government is selling gold, that's a stupid decision. If you have gold, like actual gold, you don't sell it. Like until you die, basically.
Yeah,
and then
we've died.
You want to go the Ron Swanson route of like burying it in your yard or
under a tree.
Yeah, it's only going to go up in value.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really. I was actually just in vacation in general. I'd love to. Well, you went. Did you go to Ireland?
I did.
Did you go to Scotland?
No, my wife went to Scotland. My sister's been to Scotland.
Well, I watched Skyfall last night.
Oh.
And, they go, and I'm like, I've got to go over there. And
it's amazing. Yeah.
I was looking at stuff, a whole list this morning of, like, what to see over there. And, like, they have a national park and all this stuff. That's what I would love to do.
Yeah. even just like we went and looked at both sides of Ireland, I guess, or I guess both sides of that island in general, and like the sea cliffs and like walking along the edge and stuff. That was legit.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Well, you've got pictures around here of you guys at them. Yeah.
Oh,
by the TV out there.
Yep. Out yonder.
Yep.
I can see one right there.
Yep.
We were standing on the cliffs of Moher, or however you say that. Moher? More?
Molehair.
Molehair. Yeah, we were out there.
That would be so much
fun. It's really
fun.
windy, really rainy. Awesome.
He's smiling now slightly.
He is. He's like proud of us for finishing this
You've
podcast.
stuck it through.
He's been watching us this whole time.
But yeah, that's why I don't know. There's a lot, man. The list is endless.
Right.
I would really like to go to, is it Bolivia, where their capital city is at like 12,500 feet? I just want to go there.
That'd
Looks
be
pretty.
Cool. When I was in the desert in Chile, the elevation there is like 15,000 feet.
Yeah.
Like just walking around.
That's crazy, isn't it?
There. Oh, yeah. It's really cold, too.
I'm sure.
That was like my first desert experience. Like, it's hot during the day, and it is cold at night. Like
extremes.
One of the tours, you leave at like 4 a.m. or something, and it's like 30 degrees outside or like 15.
Wow.
Which I guess isn't that cold by like Midwest standard, but like it was there. That was in our summer. So I guess technically
it was their winter.
No, it wouldn't have been. Yeah. Because it was in July. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be their winter.
But there wasn't any snow. But we were
probably so dry.
We were in the mountains.
It's so dry,
we were in the
so
desert.
they don't.
Yeah, it was dry. It was a dry heat and a dry cool.
Yeah. Well, if it gets hotter than 30 degrees during the day, everything would melt anyways.
That's true.
So it might snow overnight if you're lucky, but then during the day it'd be all gone.
It's just a weird climate.
Yeah. Yep. What? Do you have another question?
I did. Documentary. If you could watch a documentary on anything, documentary doesn't exist necessarily, but just to learn about it, and like get actual facts. What would you want to watch a documentary?
The creation of the universe.
Wow.
The real deal.
Oh.
Not the Big Bang that we all make up.
Oh, snap.
Like, I want to see, like, home videos of God making everything. Like,
you mean Aslan?
Hey, Dad, look at this. Boom. You know? I'm like, yes, that's what I want. Like, the actual, like, what actually happened.
Yeah.
You know? That's what I'm looking for.
Footage of it that wouldn't, like, melt your face off.
Yes.
Stuff, yeah.
Yep.
That would be dope. That's probably the best answer.
And basically like conversations with God of like how he thought of each planet, like all each star, like his thought process into all of that.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like. I'd listen to that.
Yeah. I wonder quite often, how like our solar system doesn't like crash into other solar systems, or like how it hasn't over the past millennium or whatever.
Yeah.
How old do you think the universe is? But
yeah,
it's interesting.
Well, I was watching. Did I tell you about Mark Rober?
Mark Rober?
He's the guy with that they were talking about at the Culvers.
The
guy with the squirrel thing.
We talked about that. Well, last podcast we mentioned it a little bit.
Did I tell you about the space when the Hubble telescope? He mentioned it in another video I watched, where he said the Hubble Space Telescope, was they took like, I don't know if it was 10 hours or it might have been 10 days. They focused it in one spot of the universe and to expose it to it, just some dark section.
Yeah.
And the picture, showed like hundreds of galaxies and stars. And
interesting.
And I mean, you see these little swirls like a galaxy, hundreds of them in this little, and he said that section of space would be like the nose was the size of the nose of like George Washington on a quarter held at arm's length.
Whoa. Was
just that, and that's how much was in that little area.
Wow.
in space.
That's
and crazy. I was like, so first I went to you can find these photos from the Hubble on their website, from the NASA's website or whatever, and I found the one he was referring to. I mean, that just blows my mind.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so it's crazy stuff. But
wow, that's a good answer. I don't even have an answer to compare with that.
Sorry.
all of mine revolved around like the truth about like the Freemasons and like.
I would listen to that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Not as interesting as that. That's like.
Yeah.
That's like stuff you're not supposed to know.
Yeah.
It's against the rules.
I don't see why not. When we get to heaven, I'm going to ask him.
Well, yeah, but like it's gonna be hard to like know that on the Earth, you know.
True.
It's like light speed. It's like the speed limit of the universe.
Yeah.
Like you don't get to go faster than that. Maybe you can. I don't. We're not there yet, though. It's all theoretical stuff.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. We can't find out. I just think it's in its time.
Yeah. I feel like it would be more like creating artificial wormholes to places.
Yes.
Instead of like going that fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. Anyways.
That's my thought as like a random person on the street.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the podcast, though. That's this week. That is.
How long were we at?
October 1st. We are at an hour and 5.5 minutes.
I have one question for you, though.
Oh, snap.
This is
not the podcast.
This is not a deep question.
This is the real podcast.
It's not. I just got to do it because I'm going to forget it.
Okay.
So we went and shot bow.
Yes.
And my thought is, and I don't know, maybe, so, and I'm going to relate it to guitar. I don't know where you've thought about this.
Probably haven't.
So I look at it and go, it's really cool. The compound bows are really cool.
Uh-huh.
Because it's cool that, I mean, just the technology and stuff.
Yeah.
But where, I'm going to relate this to, what's better, a compound bow or a
longbow?
A longbow, in the from the aspect of where does technology take out the purest of hunting? Because it's you could almost get to a place where you don't even have to. You just set up your bow and you click a button and it reloads and fires it for you.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's the same thing as like using a crossbow. Like crossbows just got legalized around here. Well,
yeah.
Not just, but like in the last 6 years they have been.
You know, and so it's like. The deer have no chance, so where's the fun in it? There's no skill.
It's like rifle hunting. It's like you dial your rifle in to like, so it's perfect at 100 yards or whatever.
And you just
pop them. And then,
yeah. So what do you think on that? As a person who actually bow hunts, or hunts in general.
I don't know if I actually bow hunt. I've never gotten anything with a bow, but well, I've only gone out like 4 times, but it was always fun every time I went. I don't know. As someone who doesn't like do that much prep, like I don't have like a kiddie pool that the deer have been eating and drinking out of it like 6 feet away from my stand all year round.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Especially when I bow hunt, I hardly even use a stand. I find a stump to sit on or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm comfortable with the way that I hunt.
Sure.
I'm uncomfortable with the way that some other people hunt.
Sure.
They're like, you can walk up and pet their deer half the year.
Yeah.
And then they shoot them in the head or whatever. So that's a little, I think that crosses the line.
Yeah.
Because that's weird.
Yeah.
I think hunting's still good. Because, I mean,
I'm not saying hunting's bad. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, when does it become basically so, it's like music today. Everything is so computer generated.
Oh, yeah.
So, you got auto-tune. Nobody actually, all they have to do is be sellable.
Yeah.
You just have to look good, and we make you sound good.
Yeah. You could just read the lyrics into a microphone, and they could do the rest.
Yeah. And so, it's the difference between music back in 60s, 70s versus now, like in the aspect of you actually had to...
You had to be good.
You had to be,
like the best of the best.
It's the difference between.
And now it's like surprising when somebody sounds good live. You're like, oh no, they actually sound good live, and you're like, oh wow, really?
Yeah, and so, that goes back to my thing about actually enjoying stuff. Like I can actually enjoy things and appreciate the fine nuances of stuff.
Ooh, the nuances.
I think if I were to actually go bow hunting, if I actually wanted to make it something that I did, I would probably be leaning more towards longbow stuff.
Yeah.
Then
it's cooler. It's definitely cooler. Like your old neighbor making his own bows and like going out and shooting turkeys and stuff.
And he goes out with his own, Osage orange. He makes his bows out of that, which is just like hardwood from the South.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And like he's excited about that. Like he likes the challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, he has compound bows, but he doesn't, I don't know. I'm just thinking about that in general. Like, I mean, where you think of fishing, it's like, well, geez, you've got the fanciest reels.
Mm-hmm.
You've got sonar. Like, you don't even have to think. You just go out. And you hit a button. Oh, there's a fish. Throw it in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Like, you could spend like, I don't know, $5,000 on the best top of the line hunting, fishing stuff or whatever, and go out there and do it and like have a good time. I'm sure.
Sure.
But like, especially in the Midwest, a lot of it is family tradition. That sounds lamer than what it is, but like, like my first gun that I still use and like have around or whatever, my dad gave me when I was 12 or whatever.
Yep.
And well, I guess I was using a different gun then, but eventually he got me my own gun, and that was cool. And like, just the stuff that I have, like I have his old bow release that he doesn't use anymore because he got a crossbow, but like now I have like this legacy of stuff.
Yeah.
Talked about that in the sermon too.
Yes.
Like, you get hyper focused on your
legacy
instead of that was really good.
That was really good.
That's a whole other podcast. But,
ooh, that's good.
Oh yeah, I very much enjoy the tradition and like hearing my dad tell the old hunting stories about like his not his great uncles, his actual uncles. It was much more like family affair back then than it is now, even for my family. I'm sure still is for a lot of people, but like my uncle used to hunt with us every year without fail, and now it's like, I might go out, I might not. And it's like, I thought this was like a big deal to you. I don't know. It's a big deal to me, but that's like the only time I really get to spend with my dad.
Well, and I think that goes back to the purest form of it. It's not. It's connection. It's supposed to be connection. Yeah. A lot of things are supposed to be connection.
Yeah, it's definitely not 100% connection with my dad, but it's like the limited connection that I have with him.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's something,
it's better than nothing.
It's like, my dad, donuts, coffee, and then he wants me to go move furniture,
Or he's got to go to the bank.
That's true, but I don't go to the bank with him.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
But it's just interesting.
You should just be like, I'll wait till you come back. It'll only take you a few minutes to go to the bank, right?
Yeah.
You're just sitting there waiting for him to come back. Oh, that'd be awesome.
So, well, I guess that's it for this week.
That is it. Da-da-da-da-da. And then
charge.
Outro music.